Hey everyone, it's me again, and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about healing in Wizard101 and the future of it. Now, in case you are living under a rock, this past week or couple of days or so in the test realm Discord where the developers are, there's been quite a heated debate on the state of healing in Wizard101. Basically, right now in the PvP meta, at least at max level, there are quite a lot of problems with healing and stalling and even sportsmanship, you could argue. And in today's video, I kind of want to just unpack everything, both sides, and obviously the literal facts. But I'm curious to see what your feedback is down there in the comments below. What do you think about healing in Wiz right now? Do you think it should be better? Do you think it should be worse? How would you go about changing things if so? If you guys enjoy this video, a like, rating, and a sub is always appreciated. I do post every day, if not every other day. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into things, y'all. So, before I start off with anything that could be labeled as a quote-unquote opinion, let's get the facts out of the way first, okay? So, Wizard101, as in the developers, the people who make the game, banned burst healing, I believe last season is when it happened. So burst healing, guys, is something like Dryad, right? You look at this card right now, it has the no PvP symbol, so you can't use this in PvP or any form of advanced content. They also banned Satyr as well. These two cards were spammed for years and years on end, and they actually listened to some community feedback and they got rid of these, and honestly it did make things a little better, you know, in my opinion, but we'll get to my opinion a bit later on. Sorry. So these cards went about a season ago, okay, and these cards also went when shads went from 1 to 2, which also slowed down the meta quite a bit to compensate, right? But it very quickly became apparent that this was not going to be enough in the grand scheme of things. Right now, the entire queue is all life and balance wizards right now. Now, in case you're wondering why it's literally just life and balance wizards, it's because life, literally, if you have a functioning brain that passed 2nd grade math, you cannot lose on a life right now in this meta. The only way you can lose on a life in this meta is if you like deck fail, you disconnect maybe, maybe you get Q sniped and hard set for it, but even then you can still beat that usually. Or the most realistic option is if you get another life and you just timer each other and you just waste each other's time. That's the most realistic option right now. So life right now basically just cannot lose if you have a good understanding of the game at the moment, or even not even good, just subpar understanding in the meta and how things work. Balance is the second best because balance is actually one of the few schools that can compete with life, okay? Also, balance right now is extremely broken in of itself, but I might save that for a different video. But the reason why balance can be okay against life is simply just because A, mana burn, and B, Gearhead Destroy Her, which is like the clockwork card. So they can basically hit and steal the life heals like Goat Monk, I think Caddy as well, right? I think Wings maybe. They can all be stolen and you can do damage on the balance. Look back a couple of seasons ago, this was a problem with Dark and Stormy and Berry Surprise as well. Gearhead Destroyer is just a really good heal counter, and it's probably one of the best ones right now. But obviously, even a counter that good does not actually fully counter like regenerate or protected heal over times. So now that we have the two best schools out of the way and why they are the best, let's get a little bit more into the opinion part of the video, guys. So was the burst heal ban enough? No, it was not enough. Now there are multiple reasons for this in my opinion. They left a couple of burst heals in, like Pigsy. I don't think I have it on my storm, but Pigsy did not get banned, and it's a burst heal. Regenerate did not get banned, and it has a burst heal to it. Okay, So it's almost like kind of contradictory from the devs to say, oh, burst heals are getting banned, but we're gonna leave like 2 or 3 in the game, right? Like Pigsy, right? Big heal up front, small overtime on the back end. Pretty good heal right now in the meta. Regenerate, right? 420 now, not considering the buffs, or 100 outgoing, and 1150 over 5 turns protected for 5 pips, by the way. Basically, what this leaves you with as a player is the only way to counter something like Regenerate is spells like Triton and Pirate. Okay? Now, the issue with Triton and Pirate, guys, there's a couple of reasons, okay? A, not everybody can dual scroll viably because it's not supported. And B, even Death and Storm, you know, the schools that the spells belong to, sorry, they're just not very good cards, okay? And now, if you take a look at Triton here on this worm, again, I'm talking for max level. I don't know what happens at like level 50, 60, or Exalted. I'm strictly talking about max level, where most of the player base is, guys, okay? So don't get offended here. Triton is 6 pips, okay? It is 1 more pip than Regenerate. It does way less damage value, okay? It does clear a single Regenerate or 2 unprotected heals for 255 blades. Okay. Now, there's a couple of issues with this spell, in my opinion. 1, the damage is horrible. Storm is supposed to be a damage per pip school, and this is barely like 100 damage per pip. It is really, really bad when you compare it to like any other 6 pip in the library. 2, Regen is 5 pips and Triton is 6 pips. You're literally losing value. 3, the intention. If somebody can go in queue and know they're going to spam 10 regenerates, nobody in their right mind is going to be packing 10 Tritons, okay? Even if they do, again, it's 1 more pip, you will lose value over time. So you can't even do that if you wanted to, right, guys? And 3, you get 255 blades, which is pretty good, right? I think we can all agree on that part. Clearing a heal for 55 blade is pretty good, right? But the issue with this card is simply because this card exists, right? This is literally just Triton, but half of the pips, right? Most people don't use this spell to gambit. They use this spell to basically just stall, right? So they'll take off the 55 blades and put 2 weaknesses on you for 2 turns, right? So Banshee just absolutely obliterates, you know, Triton and or Catch, right? Now, I do want to make it very clear, guys. I do beat a lot of Jades on my Storm. If you guys watch my stream, I've been beating Jades like the last 3 days, every single Jade on my Storm. But you guys have to understand the intention is different, right? I go in PvP to queue 7 different schools and have a different strategy and try to kill them each time, right? A Jade or a Life strategy right now is simply to make their opponent run out of cards, run out of resources, or just flee because they're having a miserable time, right? That is not healthy for the game at all. Now, I know some people want to debate and be like, oh, well, Liam, that's a strategy in my eyes. I'm a Jade main, by the way. And it's like, fine, whatever. You can have your stupid ass wrong opinion. I don't care. This is my video. I'm going to say what I want, okay? So you can have your wrong opinion. But if you literally don't have to play the game, don't expect the 6 other schools of the game to PvP or take the game seriously at all. So yeah, you can be like, oh, healing is so fine. You're just bad, lol XD, even though you beat them all the time. Okay, yeah, sure, bud. But you gotta think about the majority of the game, and the 6 other schools just aren't gonna simply play the game, and they're not right now, and you see that reflect again with less people queuing and only the same schools queuing right now, guys. Now I want to talk about Pirate, Skeletal Pirate, just to be a bit more clear. Why this is a bad counter. I mean, I wouldn't say Pirate's a bad card. I wouldn't say Triton, or I'd say Pirate's a little bit better than Triton in my opinion. Because the pip value you can actually technically keep up. But even though I say that, the issue with Pirate is you still fall behind by using the counter, okay? Now what I mean by that, guys, is if that life regenerates and I pirate, with the amount of outgoing in the game and or like a sanctuary or a heal blade, this 425 damage I have on the pirate is probably most of the time going to do less than their regenerate actually did, right? So by doing this, I'm eventually just falling behind, right? The shields don't really mean anything because again, when the intention of my opponent isn't to kill me, the shields don't really matter, right? Now, if you're a developer watching this, you might be like, "Oh, well, you set up the shields for a shield gambit, right, Liam?" Okay, fair point, right? But the issue with that is life has too much block, health, and resist for a gambit to even do anything to them. Combine that with the fact that they all have, stalling mechanics like brace, bulwark, permanent bubble control, Banshee, Quake, Wall of Blades, Eye, max trap counters, every sort of mechanic to stall combined with all of their base stats, Gambits don't do anything against the school, right? It does maybe maybe a quarter of their health, but one regen does a quarter of their health, even though you sent an 11 pip gambit, right? So even though Pirate is a bit better, like in terms of pip value compared to Triton, it's still just bad because the opponent's intention isn't to kill you, so the shields don't matter. And obviously, because life stats and how high their outgoing is, the Pirate's damage just falls behind the first burst bit of regenerate. Okay, guys? So, what should be done? You're probably asking yourself that. Now, there's a couple of ways they could go about this. They could, turn down heal per pip a lot. They could turn down outgoing a lot, or cap outgoing, which I wouldn't mind to see. They could nerf hit and heals and regenerate and stuff like that. Personally, okay guys, this is my opinion, so don't get offended here, not a fact. What I would do if I were developers right now, I would take away the burst part of regenerate, okay? And I would honestly make regenerate a deferred overtime. Or you could just make it like something like Inferno Salamander, where it's nothing now, but over time it does like, X amount, right? So I would take the burst off regen and either make it deferred or just make it basically what Infernal Salamander is, essentially. I would ban Pigsy because, again, it's just way too much value. It's a burst heal. We're supposed to have burst heal bans. We said that as developers. They were supposed to be banned last season, so I'd get rid of Pigsy as well. I would look at the values of hit and heals like Caddy, like Goat Monk, like Wings of Fate, even Barry and Dark and Stormy you could argue as well. And I really think those need to be toned down as well. Like an unbuffed, like, Goat Monk or Caddy right now does like almost 3k value, and you can spam it, right? So it's just way too much combined with how much stats life has right now in the meta. So I would do honestly all three of those things. I would nerf hit and heals, or make them more counterable, like maybe make the hit like an overtime so I can counter the overtime and then the dot, not just take a shit ton of damage and then take a shit ton of damage again if I counter. Then yeah, just do what you said, like, take out burst healing and see how that goes. Or you could go about, buffing the counters like Pirate and Triton, maybe shifting the pip value around like 4 pips instead of 5 or 6, right? Stuff like that would be extremely helpful as well. But yeah, that's everything I want to talk about in this video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you made it this far, a like, rating, and a sub is always appreciated, and I look forward to reading your feedback down there in the comments below. Now, without further ado, I'm gonna head out, get some Tim Hortons, and take care, y'all.